Hi there, Brandon Redmond, PDGA number 47316, here with Team Latitude 64, Team Heisernaut, Team Celestial Disc, and Team Gone Discin'. I figure here in this preseason, I will show you what I plan to use in my bag for 2019. I do have a couple things that I'm testing out currently that might change this, in which case I will be glad to issue another in the bag video for you to watch. So we'll get started. I have my AT Zuka cart, which I really love. I made the switch to cart in 2016, and I love it. I love the extra storage, I love the seat, I love everything about this cart. As you can see, my bag is all pink at the moment. During the winter here in Michigan, I swap out all my discs for their pink counterparts. I do throw pink during the summer as well, but I'm more particular about certain things when it comes to the winter. I don't like to lose my discs, so I make the switch over. So we'll get started with my putters. So my two primary putting putters, I carry a Retro Mercy for my long distance and tailwind putts. I get more glide out of the retro plastic than I do the medium blend, so I tend to like that for my longer float putts and tailwind putts where I need my disc to stay in the air for a little longer. My primary putter is a medium blend Mercy. I love the feel of it. I love that soft flight plate but a firm rim. I used to use the Zero Softs, but I found that in humidity they just stuck to my hand too much. I'm very particular when it comes to my grip. I do sweat very easily, so I want to make sure I have something that I have the utmost confidence when I put it in my hand. And the Zero Medium fit that bill. So those are my two primary putters. In the bag, I carry 5 more. I carry a blend slammer. This I utilize for forehand approaches, wind approaches. I will not really throw it off the tee very much. I do putt with it though, being that it's a little bit lower profile, similar to the Mercy, that if I'm faced with a headwind putt and I want to make sure I can really fire at the basket, I will switch to the slammer and just throw the putt the same way as I would my Mercy, and the extra stability is going to hold up for me. Sinus SP. I love the SP blend. This is one of the very few discs in my bag that I'm highly particular about what version I throw, that being the SP. I will use this off the tee, approach shots. This is my power driving putter. I know that I can really put something into this. I can get it to a little over 300 feet. This is actually the oldest disc that I carry in my bag at the moment. It is probably from 2007. It still has a great amount of stability to it, and it's something that I can really trust on those windy approaches, slight headwind, short holes, short tee shots. Really love my Sinus. At the moment, I have in my bag 2 other Retro Mercies. I also use the Retro Mercy for approach shots. So 250 feet, 300 feet, and in, I will use the Retro Mercy. I tend to like to run straight at a basket when I'm approaching it. I don't usually take hyzer shots in, and the Retro Mercy, that once it starts to season, is absolutely fantastic for that. I bag both of these right now because I'm working them both into that stability. This one's getting really close to where I want it, so I'm probably going to take this one out and start utilizing this one a little bit more. This way, if I happen to lose my everyday carrier, I know I can throw one of these in there and I'll be right back in good position. My Sinus is my power driving putter. The Goldline Mercy is my finesse driving putter. I don't use it for anything else but off the tee. I very rarely will use it for approaches. I never use it to putt. But as far as throwing something on a line, 250 to 300 feet, this is going to be the disc I reach for immediately. Unless wind or some other variable dictates otherwise, I'm going to the Goldline Mercy. So those are my putters. Go to my mid-ranges. I carry 4 different mid-ranges. The Goldline Fuse. I only carry a few different discs in a plastic outside of the opto level line. I love Opto level line, Lucid, VIP. I love the feel of it, the grip, the sustainability. When it gets to that sweet spot, it really lasts, the durability of the plastic. But there are a couple discs that I really enjoy in the gold line plastic. One being the Mercy and the other one being the Fuse. Soft turnovers, tailwind tunnel shots, wide open floater shots. I've thrown it forehand on get out of trouble turnovers. I love the Fuse. The combined glide and control of this disc is probably second to none. Absolutely adore my Fuse. The Opto Core. This is my straight to or stable or neutral mid-range. I've thrown the Core. This is one of my very first Latitude 64 discs, not this one in particular, but mold. I'm very particular about this mold as well, just like the Cenis. I will only throw the second or the first run Optos. This one is a second. It's got the small Latitude swoosh underneath, slightly off center. The first line the first run has the large logo right over the center of the disc. I find that those all have a slight little dome into them, and that dome creates that nice little heartbeat, and they have just amazing stability for what I want. I've gotten this out to 400 feet with a good tailwind and some room to work. 350, 300 to 350, dead straight shots. These things are my absolute workhorses. Love my Core. For my slightly overstable mid-range, I use a Lucid Verdict. Being the lower profile, it fits very good in my hand when it comes to forehanding and backhanding. I really like versatility in my discs, so if it's not something I'm comfortable doing both with, it probably won't make the bag, or it'll be very hard pressed to make the bag. The Lucid Verdict is something that I'm going to throw if I can't trust my Core into the amount of wind that's going on, or if I have a soft right to left shot or a soft left to right shot and I'll throw a forehand. I really enjoy the Verdict. It has low skip. It's something I know it's going to hit and relatively be right where I want it to be. So Lucid Verdict. Lucid Justice. This is my utility mid. It doesn't come out on the tee all that much, but it will make its appearances. This is something I'm going to mostly use for approach shots, skip approach shots, get out of trouble shots, anything 250 feet and down when I need to have a nice like flare, or I need it to fight the wind. I need it to do the one thing that it does well, which is get to the ground and fight wind. So Lucid Justice. On to my fairway drivers. I carry 5 fairway drivers. First up, my probably third favorite disc that I carry in my bag and thrown, the Opto Trident. Unfortunately, it is out of production at the moment. I really wish Latitude 64 would bring them back, because this is the absolute definition of versatility. Being a slow 5-speed fairway driver, it is something that you can really get the good control out of a mid-range, but with the feel of a fairway driver. Backhand, forehand, thumbers, tomahawks, rollers, pancake shots, grenades. I have thrown absolutely everything with this disc, and it handles everything perfectly. I will always throw Tridents until I somehow can no longer find them, and then I have no idea what I'll switch to. So Thomas, I really need you to bring back this mold. If you've never tried it, find somebody that's got a Trident, do yourself a favor and try it out. Opto Culverin. My Opto Culverin is something I'm going to utilize very similar to my Verdict. If my stable fairway driver is just something I'm not 100% on in the wind or in the elements or the shot selection, then I'm going to go to the Opto Culverin. It gives me just that little bit more high-speed stability, a little bit more fade, and it's something that I can really trust to handle the shot that I want. Which leads me to the Striker. This is my stable to neutral fairway driver. It's the oldest. It's the very first mold that I've ever thrown from Latitude 64. I will swear by it for the rest of my life. This is an absolute workhorse of a fairway driver. It's very weight dependent. All the different varying weights that you can get it in will allow you to obtain any shot that you want out of your fairway driver. It is sneaky long. It's very easy to grip in the hand. I believe it's now an 8-speed. It was a 9, but they redid the numbers, and then now it is an 8-speed. It's something that is so absolutely perfect for those flip to flat, straight shots, tunnel shots in the woods. This is something that you can really, really count on. VIP hatchet. This is the only West Side mold that I carry. I've yet to find anything from Latitude 64 or Dynamic Discs that beats out my hatchet. I know there's out there, the Mall, the Witness, Rivers. They all are close. They can do roughly the same shot, but when it comes down to it, the shot, the flight, and the grip, the feel that I have from this disc, I have yet to find something that beats it. So I will carry the VIP hatchet. Turnovers, short range rollers, forehand rollers, forehand turnovers, low power tunnel shots in woods. This is something that I can really trust to do what I need it to do to really be workable in just about any situation. And fluid felon. Normally I carry a lucid felon in my bag. Right now, being winter, I decided to revisit the fluid felon and check it out. This is also something I'm testing up against the Pioneer, one of the new releases for 2019, and we'll see if the Pioneer can do good battle with my felons, and I will let you know the outcome of that in a future date. The felon is something I can really trust into moderate headwind. The combination of glide and stability makes it a very, very good disc if you're throwing backhand or forehand. Anything up to about 320, 330, I can really consistently trust it. Anything more than that, I'm probably going to switch to a distance driver just to make sure I get the shot that I want, which is why the Pioneer is being looked at. See if it maybe is just a little bit better. So, felon. On to my distance drivers. At the moment, I have 8 distance drivers in my bag. A couple of them are being worked on right now, trying to season them up and see what's going on for the summer. So, Opto Stiletto. It is what it is. It wants to get to the ground. It wants to fight wind. This is my high-speed version of the Criminal, something that I can get max distance out of into a headwind. I can still get this to 420, 430 into a headwind, throw that hard on an Anheuser, and let it work itself slowly out. Opto Gladiator. This is my more consistent, not more consistent, but more used overstable driver. The feel of the Gladiator is fantastic in my hand. It's extremely comfortable. Fits really nicely for forehand as well. Something that I know if I'm not going to be able to trust my main distance drivers into a headwind, I'm going to go with this. If I need that flare skip around a corner on a forehand, I'm going to throw the Gladiator. So right now I have 2 Ballista Pros in the bag, an Opto and a Gold Line Burst, the special edition ones. I fell in love really quickly with the Opto Ballista Pro. The combination of speed, glide, and stability is second to none. This disc has easily added 20, 30 feet to my drives. I've gotten close to 500 a couple times. It's something that I can really, really trust and really hit hard. And it can hold up to a moderate amount of wind too, which is where the Gold Line Burst comes in, because being that it's a little bit more domey, a little domier than what the Opto is, wanted to test the stability of that, and hopefully when it gets a little beat up and seasoned, I'll get something that'll just be a little bit further than what the Opto will, and I can kind of match them side to side. But at the moment, this one is extremely overstable for me. It's brand new. It's only seen flight a few times. This is half a year old now, and has been a primary driver, so it's really starting to season nicely and to get like a nice hyzer flip and run straight. I haven't really gotten a whole lot of lateral movement on it yet, but it's close. I also bag, at the moment, 2 different ballistas, a Gold Line and a Snow Line. The Snow Line is really only in for the winter. It's not something I probably see myself using too much in the summer, only because the Ballista Pro is very, very similar in flight to the Snow Line. And I don't have to worry about trying to find the Snow Line, as Snow Line is now out of production. So this might kind of go away. The Gold Line Ballista, I find when they're new or newer, The stability in the flight is fantastic. Unfortunately for me, they do kind of have a short shelf life just for the shot that I'm looking for. They last about maybe 4 to 5 months, which is why I'm also looking into the Gold Line Ballista Pros to see if they can beat up into something that can probably replace both of these, and then I can just pull them out of the bag. So we'll see how that works out then during 2019. Opto Halo. The Opto Halo has been a distance driver of mine for probably about 7 years. It's something that has seen a lot of change to me. It went from being my overstable fairway, or overstable distance driver, to being my workhorse distance driver, to now being relegated to a control driver for me, being that I now have the Ballista Pro. So this is something that I'm going to work into my shots and work into my game on a forehand or a backhand when I need to hit more of a tunnel, when I need to be very clean on my line. I don't have to throw it as hard as I do the Ballista Pros. I can kind of dial back a little bit on it, in which case I really like it for the forehand very straight forehand shots, where the Ballista Pro still has that fade at the end. The Halo doesn't quite have that fade, so Opto Halo. And Opto Bolt. This is my understable distance driver, long distance rollers, long turnovers, cut rollers. I don't use this one forehand all that much. It's just not comfortable for me to really push out a forehand turnover to 400 feet. It's not something that I have in my game. Maybe this year I'll pick it up. I'm still trying to get my forehand in general to about 400 feet. Right now it's about 375, 380 on a good throw. So we'll see maybe how that works out in the future. But when it comes to big tailwind shots, something I know is going to go to the right, these are really, really good for that. They do have a little bit of fade, so once you get your hands on it and they're new, they will fight out of that turn. But once they get a little seasoned up, they throw some beautiful turnover shots. I really, really like it. Another one of my molds that I've thrown for probably about 8 years, and it's been very hard pressed to find something that beats them out. So there you have it. There's my bag. As you've noticed, I throw a lot of different molds. I don't really have duplicates of molds. I have been in that boat where I've gone that route and done multiple molds and carry 3 different felons or carry 4 different halos, and it's just not something I really liked to do. I found myself just wanting to put another disc in there. I subscribe to the mentality of one disc, one shot. As long as I remain constant and I focus on doing what I'm supposed to do during the throw, I know the discs are going to do what they're designed to do. Discs aren't the variable, the human is the variable. So as long as the human can maintain what they're doing, the discs are never going to change. I've played with guys that throw a disc out there and I hear, oh, you're not turning, you're supposed to be the understable one. Whereas I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to worry about hitting my different angles and making sure that I'm throwing the disc how it needs to be thrown to achieve a certain flight. All I have to do is throw the disc on an angle that I'm consistent with, and the disc is going to take care of the shot itself. That's something that I really am keen on. I've subscribed to that mentality. If that's not what you're for, by all means, build your bag with multiples of the same disc. Carry 4 different molds and carry 20 different discs if you want. Carry 5 of each disc. It's whatever suits your game and makes you the best player that you can be. This is something that I found makes me the best player that I can be. So, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and look forward to more footage in the future. Till then, get out and throw.